Ladies and gentlemen, Gungans and droids across our beloved Empire. Dang! It's great to be in the Empire today. The Dark Trooper smashing anything that stands before him. Oh my gosh. We are going to talk about what I love about this character, what I don't like about this character. Spoiler, not really much in that regard. And we're also going to talk about how I think there is a bigger future in store for this Dark Trooper. But in the meantime, this guy is literally the one-hit wonder, the guy that you do not want to see in a Life Alert commercial, knocking down old men to the ground with his hammer. And man, he's like the Incredible Hulk inside of Star Wars. And we're also going to talk about mods, because I think mods are important as well as Zetas. And oddly enough, I feel like this is a character that we don't need a Zeta for, but overall, this character is taking the Empire and the Imperial Trooper faction, and even the Imperial Remnant faction, to new heights. But the funny thing is I feel like we're missing something, because yes, he's great with Imperial Troopers, and I think he's gonna be great all around with the Empire in a variety of different lineups, but I think his home is meant to be with the Imperial Remnants, and luckily he's helping Moff Gideon lead do a lot of work. Let's go ahead and start rolling some gameplay and talk a bit about it more. Let's talk about, firstly, what we found out on our stream that I think is kind of a cool highlight. By the way, thank you guys so much for coming out to the stream. We had an amazing time. We had a lot of fun, and let me tell you, we have this formula we like to call smiles per mile. It's a very scientific formula. We were smiling quite a lot with this character, and the audience absolutely loved seeing this guy just use his fist to punch the Imperial Justice into the hearts of our enemies here. And I think I want to start off with that. The best thing about this character is the basic ability. Like, holy cow, they could have deleted the two specials, just give me a basic and unique, and I still think I would love this character. I was not really using bombarding reinforcements and perfect soldiers much. Anytime I had the opportunity, due to his massive offensive capabilities, I just wanted to use my basic. He was one-shotting Sith Eternal. He was knocking out Darth Revan, Darth Malix. He was just anything that was in your way. You point, shoot, boom, punch the hole right through the wall, and helps you keep moving forward. You really kind of feel that moment when Beskar Armando was getting pummeled by the Dark Troopers inside of Season 2. They really brought that to life here. But the big thing I want to talk about first is I want to talk about what he does new. And keep in mind, Imperial Troopers are already so dang powerful. It's actually kind of a surprise they haven't been nerfed, especially when you look at the past and you look at how Finn Zeta Lead got nerfed to oblivion because of all the massive Terminator gains. Imperial Troopers have been getting better and better and better over time. But the thing is, you gotta keep in mind, Imperial Troopers are already doing a lot before Dark Trooper. They're able to beat, for example, Darth Revan and Sith Eternal. But the new thing is that they were able to kind of counter consistently was General Anakin Skywalker. Because of Moff Gideon being able to outrun Captain Rex, pulling back the Terminator, applying Demoralize, Dark Trooper's massive basic ability, he's able to punch a hole through General Anakin Skywalker, knock him down into his kindergarten nap time, and they allow you to then pick up all the Imperial Troopers. And then what happens is General Anakin Skywalker stands up, kills off all the other Imperial Troopers, and Dark Trooper, more or less, was able to hold his own and 1v1 solo General Anakin Skywalker. Now, I don't want to sell this as a very consistent counter. We did this about 5 times during our live stream yesterday, and it worked about 3 out of the 5 times. It always, the same thing would always happen. You knock down General Anakin Skywalker very quickly, kill off the clone troopers, Skywalker stands back up, kills everyone off, and you just got to make sure you have at least 4 stacks of the Dark Trooper squad, and you also want to make sure he has Retribution from Range Trooper on Dark Trooper, because then that allows you to counter attack General Anakin Skywalker into oblivion. But there were some situations where it wouldn't work, and General Anakin Skywalker would take out Dark Trooper because we only had 1 or 2 stacks of Dark Trooper squad left over. It seems like if you can make sure you have 3 or more Dark Trooper squads and Retribution, you should be able to take out General Anakin Skywalker. But I don't know if this is going to be something I'm going to be doing personally in Grand Arena or Territories, because it's not pretty banners. It's really fun, it's really cool, and it's more... Adding another big team to the Imperial Trooper counter list is kind of a big deal. It's cool to know. That's kind of the one main thing I want to point out. The other big thing I think that's worthy to point out here is I want to be able to bring up Moff Gideon. We're going to talk about Imperial Remnant in a moment. Don't you worry. I think there's a bigger future in regards to them. But Moff Gideon did not make any sense before. It wasn't really all that good. Now we can beat Sith Eternal because of the Dark Trooper in an Imperial Remnant squad without the need of Veers and Piet. I have some gameplay with Piet, without Piet, but this is big because if you can have Moff Gideon lead, beat Sith Eternal, That saves you Veers, Piet, and Stark for a whole other Imperial Trooper team. And as we said, Piet, Veers, and Stark, that's already a core trio for so many amazing Imperial Trooper teams that counter big name teams out there like Darth Revan. So Moff Gideon lead is starting to become a bigger threat, mainly because of Moff Gideon's massive speed and Dark Trooper's massive offensive capabilities. And there's kind of an odd person in the bunch. We ended up using Range Trooper as our last support character in place of Piet or Veers. I think, can we pull it up on the screen? I think we're missing something. Although these guys are doing work, as we're going to see, they're not nearly as good as Imperial Troopers of Veers. I have a feeling most people are going to gravitate using their Dark Trooper with General Veers in the end because he is just so much fun to use. And with all the massive offensive and turn meter gains, Dark Trooper just flourishes in that type of lineup. But you can make him work in Imperial Remnants in some certain situations here. And if you look, there's one more character missing. And when you look at the Moff Gideon lead, it demands that you have a dark side tank, 2 dark side attackers, and an additional dark side support. And they all have to be Imperial Troopers to get all these bonuses. And Range Trooper worked perfectly fine. There's a lot of fun combos to play around in there. But I think there's going to be one more Imperial Remnant character. It's going to be support. My money's on a Scout Trooper. I mean, mainly just because I see Scout Trooper right there. And if they do add a Scout Trooper, I hope they give him a mark capability. But other people are asking maybe for an Imperial Flame Trooper or a Purge Trooper, whatever the case might be. I think we're definitely in store for at least one more Imperial Remnant down the road. But in the meantime, Moff Gideon lead is able to counter Sith Eternal fairly consistently, and it's really it's going to open up a lot of things. But when you look at the Empire faction as a bigger piece of the puzzle, I suppose there's so many tags with the Dark Trooper. He's gonna have a lot of plug and play viability with the Empire faction. We only can do so many battles inside of our lives because we're limited in arena attempts. But for example, we threw in Gar Suxon lead and it worked out kind of fine. And again, it really just comes down to that massive damage from Dark Trooper. It's going to be able to carry a lot of different teams out there. I suspect, especially with the turn meter gains of Dark Trooper, we could probably throw him with Emperor Palpatine lead. I'm sure he's going to work with Darth Vader lead perfectly fine. There's going to be a lot of different ways to utilize this Dark Trooper, but I think as now the Imperial Troopers and possibly Imperial Remnants are going to be the best place to utilize this character. Let's talk about the other abilities because I've been spending most of my time talking about the basic, and that's really the highlight of the kit is just that basic ability. I want to talk about bombarding reinforcements for a moment because that's where the Zeta is. I've been getting a lot of questions. Hey, is the Zeta worth it? As of now, through my testing, through the gameplay I've done, he's a great character in a faction that's already pretty darn great at countering a lot of stuff out there. But I rarely ever use bombarding reinforcements or perfect soldiers, mainly because why use another ability when I could just use my basic and just punch my enemies into the grave right away? You know what I mean? Bombarding reinforcements is important in this situation where you're losing stacks of Dark Trooper squad, because keep in mind, the reason why that basic is so powerful is it's because it's doing huge damage for each stack of Dark Trooper squad. You can have a max of 4 Dark Trooper squads, which means you're gonna hit 4 times, and at times you were hitting over 200,000 damage. Well, the less stacks you get, the less damage you're gonna end up doing. So yes, bombarding reinforcements and its Zeta is important, but I rarely found myself using that ability, mainly because I didn't really have too many issues with maintaining my Dark Trooper squads because I was using them in teams where we were just running circles around our enemies. But in this situation, you feel like you're gonna fall below 3 stacks of Dark Trooper squads. Bombarding reinforcements comes in handy because it helps you keep up and get back on top with the amount of Dark Trooper squads you have. But really, I personally was never using it. I think you can pass up on the Zeta for the time being. Of course, that's all going to be conditioned on what the future of the Imperial Remnant faction looks like. It might be a bigger picture, and that Zeta will look a lot more enticing, but it's surprising that this is the first character in a while where I don't feel, for you to get the most out of him, you need the Zeta. Most characters need a Zeta to be useful. I think this is going to be one of the first non-Zeta characters in a while that you can get a lot of use out of without that Zeta. Perfect soldiers, lots of Terminator games. When we first did our testing on the live stream, I thought maybe the main thing we want to do is mod this guy for speed, get him as much speed as possible so he could try to push out as much Terminator into the team. Well, when you're using with Veers, for example, you don't really need the Terminator gains. And I'm assuming it's Emperor Palpatine as well, because there's already so much Terminator flowing around in the team. And yeah, it gives off offense up, but that wasn't really anything that important, especially if you're using Imperial Troopers with Veers lead. You already got plenty of Terminator. You already got plenty of offense. So again, that basic is what's going to really matter. I did use perfect soldiers a little bit more when I was using the Imperial Remnant facts, because there's not a lot of turn meter gains, especially if you don't have Veers or Snow Trooper with Moff Gideon lead. You need something to kind of help you keep moving, get the turn meter going, try to keep some sort of ball rolling, and Perfect Soldiers was able to feed me 40% turn meter, 10% for each stack of Dark Trooper squad. That was really, so again, as of now with the initial testing, yeah, the other abilities are cool. It's nice to have more abilities than less abilities, but I feel like they honestly could have sold this character as a character that just uses basic and smashes enemies into the ground, makes old Sith Lords cry for life alert. Other than that, not really much to go along with this character right here, except that basic, and I'm sure the other abilities will make more sense. But of course, day one, there's probably more teams we're going to learn to counter, and maybe there's a bigger picture, and then we're going to want to maybe utilize those other abilities. But right now, everyone I've talked to, my personal opinion testing, that basic is all the money. And I think the thing we need to talk about at the end of this video is the mods, because if you want to get the most out of this character, you need to make sure you mod this character right. And we did a lot of different mod strategies, and we decided to go all out offense with this character. Fun fact, this character already has a fairly good base speed, a base speed of 179, assuming you get him to gear 13. So you already got a very good base speed to work with. So the good thing is you don't need to worry as much about speed sets, and it encourages you to look at other things like offense. We're running an offense set with the health set, with primaries being offense on the cross, offense here, and offense here. And here we decided to go with health. And I think this is going to be the way to go, having an offense at health set and max at the offense, because this guy hits hard. You want to make sure you're maxing out that basic ability. 10,602 offense, incredibly high for this character. And one thing to keep in mind is it's kind of, this character is almost like a B1, but not quite in regards to those stacks, because this character, unlike B1, who only will have 1 health to start off with, this character will have at least 25% of its base max health and max protection. So you want to try to maximize the stacks of Dark Trooper squad, because when you deplete all of your max health and protection, you lose a stack of Dark Trooper squad. So I think the thinking is going to be, let's try to give him at least a health set, so that way we can make sure we're maximizing the duration and time that we have with each stack. And he's already got a fairly good base max health, so we're having about 70,000 max health. 25% of that is what he's gonna be working with. So I think as of now, go with offense if you want to use this character. And again, I think we're just scratching the surface for this guy. I think this guy's gonna be a great character for a long time in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Assuming they don't tamper with the basic and nerf this guy, he should be useful in a variety of droid lineups, Empire lineups, Imperial Trooper lineups, and I think the future has more in store for the Imperial Remnant faction. Like if you enjoyed today's video, comment down below on all your thoughts, and be sure to subscribe so you're not missing a thing. And the most important thing on the way out, always remember, it's great to be in the Empire today.